I like that Zoom was just like, you're being live streamed. Do you want to leave right now?
Let's see. Uh, all right, because I'm not ready, we're just gonna see if the images I have are the right ones.
I believe. I believe.
Thanks. Oh yeah, we're all right. All right, so let's see. Let's get out of YouTube. Hello to everybody on YouTube. Okay, now I'll start sharing my screen. So I'll kick Garfield off. 34 seconds late. Usually I'm more prompt than this. All right, here we go. Welcome, everybody. I hope people can hear me. It's Friday Night Comics, or depending upon where you are, maybe it's Friday late afternoon, or maybe it's Saturday morning, or maybe it's really, really late Friday night. Anyway, we call it Friday Night Comics because that's what the Believer called it when we started it and took it over from them. Anyway, that's where you are. We believe in comics at the Sequential Artists Workshop, or SAW. Sequential Artists Workshop, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. You can find out courses and stuff that we do at learn.sawcomics.org. We have some courses coming up, including Build Your Own Labyrinth with Matt Madden and Creative Nonfiction with Maureen Burdock. You can find those at learn.sawcomics.org. And next week in this slot, Anand Shinoy is here. He's going to be doing Aimless Comics. That's next Friday, and you can sign up for that in the chat. We've got a 6-month graphic novel development course coming up. It's June 1st, but we start to announce it right around now. And Terrible Anvil is still going. If you haven't heard, that's a podcast, Jess Rollison and I talking about how to make comics without feeling lousy all the time. We're on episode 11 now. Just keep the episode 2 image up because too busy making podcasts. Lower your expectations and meet your comics goal. We've got Meg making these crazy YouTube type of thumbnails for it. I can't even get out of this image. Oh my God, how do I get out of this image? Crazy. Get out of this image. Okay, there we go. All right, anyway, so SAW survives from tuitions and donations. And if you donated to tonight's workshop, we really appreciate it, or any way you donate, it really helps us. It helps us keep these Friday nights free. It helps us pay the teachers, and it helps us keep going and teaching comics. We appreciate it. You can support us there, and we'll put that in the chat as well. You could become a member, sustaining member. So we'll get ready. So we ask no inappropriate speech or imagery, keep it a PG-13 in the sharing. Share on Friday on social media with hashtag Friday Night Comics. And we are at Comics Workshop, and we'll put Sage's info in the chat. I think it's Sage M Coffey.
Yes.
You can also come to members.sawcomics.org and find lots of people sharing comics there. And oh yeah, we've been doing these PDFs lately for people. You got to sort of work fast or upload fast, because I'll put the link in the chat. But down there on the right, it's like we've been doing Friday Night Comics. Like when Audra Stang was here, we did a little PDF of some of the entries. So I'll put that in the chat as well. So enjoy. Here we are creating iconic characters. I'm so excited. If I can find out how to stop sharing, we can do it. There it is. All right.
Hey.
Oh, you know what? And I wasn't recording. So now I'm going to record. I guess it's okay that whatever. And I'm going to spotlight you, Sage. Welcome, Sage. And
Awesome.
then now
Hi.
you can do whatever you want with the screen or anything.
Um, so brief introduction. My name is Sage Coffey. I'm a cartoonist in Chicago. I'm best known for my work for my new book, Wine Ghost Goes to Hell, as well as I Am Not a Wolf. I worked as a additional artist and story editor on the video game Bugsnax. I've done a bunch of stuff. I've been published by the New Yorker, the Washington Post, the Nib, doing mostly autobiographical comics as well. So pretty mixed comics background. Um, so yeah, I want to talk to you about creating iconic characters. Um, and we're gonna start with this. So iconic comes from the word icon. basically, like, what we're going to start doing is taking something and breaking it down to its simplest parts, right? So at the top here, you see an example from Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics. You see a photo of a man, and each step he gets simpler and simpler until we can just see, okay, person, right? With just the two dots and a mouth, two dots and a line. Same thing for Garfield. Garfield, we go from like a photo of a cat to this strange middle ground of like 3D kind of cartoon to fully what Jim Davis originally made, the Garfield character design. Now, why does this character design for Garfield that's 3D read as Garfield and not Heathcliff? Does anyone want to jump in?
Put some
Does
answers
anyone
in
have
the
any
chat.
answers? What do they think?
Put it in the chat. No tooth, someone says.
No tooth. That's, yep.
The eyes, someone says. Larger eyes. The round
Absolutely.
eyes, colored eyes. No big
Absolutely.
eyelids, proportions.
So what we're looking at is these iconic shapes that make him read as Garfield, with the lip, the big eyes, the half lid. Especially when we look at Heathcliff, he's got that big black round nose, whereas Garfield's much flatter, right? So yeah, he has those iconic parts of his character design that makes him stand out regardless of rendition. Now, this goes into more shape-based character design. So triangular character design tends to be more dangerous, energetic, exciting, mischievous. You think of a Spike, right? It's a little sharp. It's a little edgier of a character. With squares, you're looking at something more solid, more stable, not very easily pushed around, right? Think of these shapes quite literally, like as if you're holding them in your hand. Same for circular shapes, circular character designs. They're very flexible, they're safe, there's no sharp edges that you can hurt yourself on. Very easygoing, very easy to push around, right? So below here, you'll see a example by Ria Tibby from the 21 Draw character design book, where we have a chef, each highlighting a different aspect of shape-based character design, right? We look at the triangular one, that's a chef with a butcher knife, right? He's tired, he's a little kind of scary looking. The square one, old dependable. You can go up to this guy and ask for a plate, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I'll make you a plate." Same with the round, easygoing. You could probably be like, "Hey, table 5 needs, this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other, and we don't have any time for it." He'll be like, "Okay, I can do it." Yeah. So right, we're just going back to what we said earlier. Really just imagine those physical shapes in those character designs and incorporate them. So here we have Bart Simpson and Milhouse, right? Two very iconic characters, very easily recognizable. When you look at Bart's design, one of the things that stands out a lot is how spiky his hair is. Those tons of little spikes make him look a little more edgy, a little more dangerous, energetic, right? Whereas Milhouse, by contrast, is a lot rounder in shape. Not just his hair, but also his glasses, his nose. You see the repeat of these rounded and spiked shapes in their face, right? So we can see like, oh, okay, Bart's the more energetic of these two. But what happens when you switch these kind of elements? It looks completely different and a little unhinged. Where Bart previously looked more like mischievous, now looks like a stereotypical upstanding citizen. Very, very like clean cut and plain. Whereas Milhouse looks away. He he definitely looks a lot more I don't want to say edgy, but a little edgier. It feels weird to say that regarding Milhouse, you know. And that's just changing their hair. When you follow through with those design elements of like giving Bart a rounded nose versus a longer pointed nose, you know, stuff like that is how you can really communicate to somebody, this is how you should feel about my character upon seeing them. Lastly, I want to talk about silhouette. Characters should be clear even if we can't see all their finer details. Like we were talking about earlier with Garfield, you can immediately recognize that as Garfield's silhouette. Same thing with Popeye, Moomin, and even if you're not unfamiliar, even if you're not familiar with Moomin, you can tell that that is a creature, right? You can tell that that is not a human character. Same thing with Nancy. You can tell that Nancy isn't a cat by her silhouette, right? And once we fill in those details, that's just really, you know, honing in, like repeating those kind of character design elements that we were talking about. With Nancy, you see the bow and the collar have these sharper edges, right? She's also another mischievous child. I didn't mean to make a bunch of mischievous kids. You know, same thing with Moomin. Moomin is a very kind of pushover character, but he's also open to adventure. You see these little spiky ears and a little, you know, spikes on his tail. Like he's not all round. So yeah, does anyone have any questions?
Any questions in the chat? Probably not. This is really exciting. Chris said, what I learned today, round versus angular chefness.
Yes. Yeah, just imagine Bob from Bob's Burgers being triangular. That's a little scarier.
So nice.
Anyone else?
Somebody says, is there a way to subvert shape language effectively? A dangerous character being round or a soft character being square, etc.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think actually Popeye might be a really good example of this because Popeye, you know, he's not a pushover. He's not particularly easygoing either, right? But he has these repeated rounded shapes. And the way that E.C. Segar mitigated that is by giving him more sharp elements in his face shape. So like you see how he has kind of a triangular face shape, right? Ah, like that, or maybe hold on. I have Photoshop open, so I can do this immediately. But
we might only see what you've got open now, though.
You can see how I was preparing for the talk.
No, we can't see.
Oh, you can't see?
Yeah, we can only see your PDF.
Can you see now?
Yep.
Cool.
That was fast. Oh boy, we're gonna get a demo.
The unexpected demo. I'm just gonna isolate Popeye real quick. So Popeye is really good about subverting expectations. You have these continued round shapes, right? But when you look at him as a whole, it's very triangular. You have kind of a curved triangular shape right here, a triangular shape right here, right? A more square, but still. triangular shape right here. So there is edginess to his character. As far as subverting those expectation goes, I think just continuing to combine shapes to communicate a different kind of character, a different kind of, round does mean easygoing, but it can also mean pushover, right? Like, it's just how extreme do you want to make that shape language? And by combining shapes, you can communicate a more complex character. Does that make sense?
I think so. We've got other questions. Should we take a couple real fast? Like one
Oh,
says,
yes, of course.
what about if you don't want to key what the reader will think? Let them have their own response. Somebody said.
This is definitely something that is more subconscious, right? The average person won't look at Garfield and be like, oh, that's a lazy cat because there are circles. Really, like, in character design, what you're communicating is the character, right? Like, you can have more humanoid characters like Nathan Drake or Batman or any hyper humanoid character. You're still communicating something about that character subconsciously to the reader with their character design, even if you don't mean to.
What about color? Somebody asks.
Color language is a whole other thing. Definitely, like, brighter, more energetic colors are going to get a brighter, happier, more energetic response. If you notice a lot of popular characters like Minions, Pikachu, Tweety Bird in the 2000s, all of them are kind of this bright, energetic yellow. Same thing when you think of like edgier, darker characters. Think of like Shadow the Hedgehog is a lot of black, red, dark purples, more kind of spooky Halloweeny colors, if you will. That's one way to do it. A lot, especially when coloring comics, it can be a little more difficult to communicate with color because you're also thinking about environmental lighting, shading, and stuff like that. But in general, I would say brighter colors communicate visually happy.
All right. I think we got all the questions. Lots of other people commenting, though, talking about Gru and the Minions, for instance, angular versus round. And
yeah. Oh, yeah. Gru and the Minions are a great example of iconic character design.
Cool.
All right. So the assignment. Okay, there we go. Let's make a comic. Sorry to yell. I'm excited. Okay, we're gonna make two characters. I want y'all to tell us who your characters are visually. Utilize elements of their design to tell a story. They can be opposing characters like Bugs Bunny or Elmer Fudd, or they can be friends and work together like Daria and Jane. We're going to do one page, a maximum of 6 panels. And yeah.
I'm writing that in the chat. They can be opposing, like Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd, or work together, like Daria and Jane. Maybe can we maybe have a topic too, just for those of us who can't think fast, like me, like maybe.
Absolutely. Let's do forest related.
Oh, okay. Okay, I put that in the chat too for those who need an idea. Are we gonna see you come up with something too?
Yeah. I'm gonna do it along with y'all.
You're gonna use Garfield? No, you're gonna create something new, right?
I'll be getting that nice Jim Davis will knock on my door and be like, "What are you doing?"
Should do you think we should spend a moment or two drawing the characters first, sort of sketching them out? And
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
definitely like get a feel for your character before you put them in the comic because right, this assignment hinges on being able to communicate about our character. So we should have a couple sketches of our character first.
Okay.
If you're having trouble like, you know, say you want a character to be kind of like gruff and tumble but don't know where to start, remember referring back to that shape language,
Mhm.
right? Gruff and tumble, like sturdy, you think of a box, right? Not very easy to carry around or push over. If they're really mean and like hurtful, a little edgier, think about those triangles.
Mm.
You can build a character out of 7 triangles, or you can build a character out of 1 circle and 3 triangles. Like there are a lot of different ways to utilize this shape language.
Cool. So I'm putting in the chat, I said, and you can mix shapes or you can use repeated shapes or a single shape, right?
Yeah.
What else? And I guess everything is a combination of those kinds of things, right? Like, even a snake is kind of a bunch of circles sort of all connected,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, and you can even see a snake as a circle and a really long circle.
Right. Cool. That looks like a cool. Okay. So I can't wait to see what you do.
If you're also still having trouble filling in those finer details, you can work on silhouette first.
Oh.
So you can just make a blob, don't even think. Right? Here's my blob.
Oh.
And then fill in the blob.
Hmm.
That's another approach. That's a different approach, of course.
It's a bit of a challenge, especially if you want to stay forest related, right? So you said, let's do forest.
Right.
And so then you make this crazy shape and you're like, okay, what is this? Is it a fairy? Is it I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do. Just because you're so good at this and having fun with it, and we're watching this happen and it's so super cool. Wow. Can you do something really like really spiky and angular and from a
Oh,
silhouette and
absolutely. Yeah.
make us a character there? Okay, let's see that, everybody.
So
Jennifer
this
says,
is kind of
totally, totally going for the blob.
a more rounded blob. I did give her some sharper angles
Oh, true.
just to make her a little more interesting. A little more edgy looking. We'll do.
Nikki says it looks like a fairy with a surfboard.
Spiky.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I'm not even thinking, right? I'm making the spikes. And now working off of this silhouette, just doing the best of like what I can see in this silhouette.
Mm.
So even though the silhouette was spiky, the character design might not end up being as spiky.
Mhm.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to provide examples. Let me just merge those real quick. I'll put that in the corner. We'll get this comic on the road. Also, if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. Um, I'm happy to answer questions while I draw. Uh,
It reminds me of the Jim Woodring characters. Do you know his comics? He's got a couple spiky little weird
oh
characters.
yeah, he does have a lot of spiky little guys. He's really good about like having that really like tubular shape language too.
Mm.
Um, his work has a lot of good contrast between the shapes.
Yeah.
Same with George Harriman, Crazy Cat. A lot of good character designs there.
Yeah.
Even if you want to think about like adding a little spike but not sure how to put it in, say like your character is an animal and doesn't wear clothes or something like that. Remember, fur has a texture. You can use that texture to create those little triangles.
Cool. Mahort really appreciates the drop shadow into your frame.
Thank
And
you.
a couple other comments. Germ Bro made a unicorn with lots of spiky edges because she's very energetic.
Oh,
And let's see, a rock troll who has lots of rounded features.
nice.
I think Nikki is making a chicken salad sandwich. I don't know if that's a character or dinner.
It could be both.
Oh yeah. Chris is making mushroom people. Penny isn't quite sure. Maybe gnomes. Another character. More mushroom characters. A bear with square features, a hare with triangular features.
Nice.
So,
You know what's kind of funny is like when I think of bears, I think of the Charmin bears, and they're so circular, right?
which
They're the Charmin
oh,
bears, the
sure,
toilet
sure. They're
paper
so
bears.
soft. Yeah, yeah. They're basically marshmallows, right?
Yeah.
It occurs to me Garfield's covered with little dark triangles, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he is. It's because even though he doesn't have a lot of energy on Mondays, he'll still snap back. He's very witty. So he's got that bit of edge to him.
Oh, you're doing the fairy, the forest fairy. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I figured I might as well use the ones that I made the silhouette for. Something also important to know is the more you draw a character, the more you might figure out how their design language changes. You'll notice this a lot in the animated series, where if you look at like episode 1 versus episode, 50 or whatever, you'll see how they changed a lot. Um, there's an exercise that you can do that my old professor made us do once, where you draw the same character 100 times to really like simplify being able to draw them very fast. Um, and that kind of forces iconography, right? Because you're
Mm.
trying to get that shape language down immediately. So yeah, don't overthink it. Think it, but don't overthink it.
I think a lot of people, if they're like me, are just gonna have too much fun just drawing characters and might not get to the story. But we'll see. It sounds like Mickey is drawing a chicken salad sandwich character.
Nice.
Elson a porcupine. You've really noticed the difference between Millhouse's nose and Bart's nose before. Big differences.
Yeah, it's strange how much we don't even register
Yeah.
subconsciously.
Yeah. Do any other Simpsons character have those big noses?
Oh, the longer noses?
Yeah.
Um,
Real big bulbous ones.
I know the comics guy has a larger, rounder nose, but not the level that Millhouse's is.
Hmm. Montgomery Burns has a really pointed nose, someone points out. Solomon points out. That's true.
Make it tiny head. You'll notice even though this moth has that I'm drawing right now has a lot of angular shapes, they're kind of faux angular, right? You see how rounded all of them are? They're more
Yeah. Hmm.
like ovals than they are triangles. So that's another way to play with shape, right? Not every person needs to be a square. They can also be more of a rectangle or even a rounded square.
Or football in the case of that.
Yeah,
That
you could be
yeah.
Hey Arnold.
Oh, true. Right. Hey, Arnold.
There he is.
Oh, right. He's got the big spiky hair. Calvin has big spiky hair too.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at a lot of mainly, well, I don't know, a lot of shows have their own shape language. Steven Universe is really much more
Hmm.
traditional in how they use their shape language.
Hmm.
But we were talking about kind of misleading people before. Um, I guess Steven Universe spoilers. Rose, the main one of the main gems that we're supposed to idolize in the beginning, turns out to be a really not great person. Um, and she has those repeated, like, big curly hair, big
Hmm.
circular body. Um, yeah. So you can communicate something completely opposite with someone's character design to subvert expectations.
You think that was part of the plan early on? Because a lot of Steven Universe stuff felt like, in a good way, they were making it up as they went along. So they were world building this whole time, right? And then at the
Right.
end,
It was, I believe, actually I think I have it.
yeah,
I don't have it over
history of
here, but
Steven Universe.
in a zine Rebecca Sugar made, she talks about how Rose kind of being a villain was part of the larger plan of Steven Universe.
Oh, cool. So they gave her all friendly. Somebody asked about Hans from Frozen, who also was a bit of a, surprise
Yeah.
in his villainy.
Yeah, Hans, if you look at like his features while they're rounded, it's kind of the opposite of what we talked about with Popeye, right? While they're rounded, he still has that underlying like angular, his
Does
hair is
he?
kind of like this, making those angular shapes. There he is. Um, there's actually a very famous image from Aladdin's character design team that talks about the cobra motifs that are in Jafar. This is another way to portray a character's kind of danger, is equating them to an animal and carrying out
Mhm.
those motifs. So, like, I'm gonna keep doing demos. Um, so Jafar's shape is kind of like an hourglass, right? But it's also the shape of a cobra hood.
Oh, spooky.
So that's one way to communicate danger without directly having a bunch of triangles, is equating either their color palette or certain motifs of that animal into that character.
Two other comments that are related to Chris and Penny say the Kingpin in Marvel Comics is a subversion because he's nearly spherical, but he's dangerous. And then Dominique says, makes me wonder if Eggman from Sonic the Hedgehog is circular on purpose because no one takes him seriously as a bad guy.
Yeah. Eggman's also very easily emotionally swayed, right? He gets frustrated really easily. He feels his emotions he's very reactive, right? And think of, like, again, think of that physicality of a ball, right? You can blow on a ball and it'll go depending on the material of the ball, obviously. But you blow on a ball and it'll go, you know. But if you blow in a square or a triangle, it's not going to move as easily. Eggman is a pretty interesting example because he too has many a triangle. Proving my Sonic fan cred by drawing Eggman from memory.
Yeah.
Because he's got those. He's got triangles. They're just not as prominent, right? And especially in Sonic specifically, the shape language for triangles is more towards speed, more towards energy. Because if you look at Sonic, yes, Sonic has a lot of round shapes, but he's 99% triangles. His round shapes are mostly in his body and face.
Yeah. Built for speed.
Mm-hmm. And like one thing interesting about Sonic's character design specifically is he has these really thick socks on his feet, and that kind of makes his character design more grounded, right? That's probably one of the only squares on his character design. Everything else is rounded. But yeah, that gives him a certain amount of weight to his feet. So it doesn't look like he's just gonna like float, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, you can break down almost any character.
I think people are appreciating this.
I'm glad.
Someone says, Angel says, wondering if you have advice for creating characters for the same comic or story that also feel like they're from the same world. Example, if I'm creating a human and a dog, how would I make both characters match?
Um, that's a good question. You have to kind of work backwards from your world, right? So like if it's kind of a sci-fi world, I'm just doodling. I'm sorry that I completely didn't do the assignment.
Oh, I love
Um,
it.
um, so say we have like people McPerson walking their dog. Right. So firstly, you got to think like, what's their relationship to the dog? Do they have the dog on a short leash? Do they have it on a long leash? Is the dog more of a no leash kind of situation? Um, there's actually a really great example, and obviously this is in a more grounded universe. I don't know what I'm doing. Uh,
Mm.
101 Dalmatians has a great opening sequence where people directly match their dog. Whether that be through style, like
Oh,
one lady
yeah.
having really long hair and the dog having really long hair that matches, someone being really like short and squat, and then their dog also being short and squat. So like depending on the relationship of the dog, um, just mirroring what you have with the human shape wise, even color wise, will marry those two designs. That's Person McPeople Man and his dog that has a harness.
Okay. I found really quickly, I'll put it in the chat, a link to a couple images from 101 Dalmatians from what you're describing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
doing that.
And there's like 4 or 5. That's and they're even doing it. Somebody asked about color. They're even doing it with color as well.
Yeah. Well, and like even this, like this is super sketchy, right? But in the design language, we have the harness and the tank top kind of mirroring that square
Mm.
shape.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And of course, like when you introduce elements of the world, like if you're doing a sci-fi thing, or like a caveman dog friend kind of thing, you can really, really get into some finer details.
Right. Right. Right.
Any other questions? I love answering questions.
Yeah. No, some comments though. I'll just read them as you draw if you want. Nikki, continuing on the chicken sandwich, says, "Goodness, my squarish chicken sandwich character really does come across as someone sturdy and sensible when paired with some rather triangular looking mice." And Jules says, "Bone is a really good example of book with human and non-humans. That's for
Oh,
sure."
absolutely. Yeah.
And Kate really dug that dog face, but that dog has now disappeared. It strikes me as I'm drawing a forest scene or really sketchy one that trees and landscape do the same thing, right? You
Oh,
could draw
yes.
rounded trees and hills and things like that are really spiky trees.
Oh, absolutely. A really, really good example of this also from Disney. I'm so sorry. I promise I'm not a Disney adult.
Okay.
They just do this a lot. Is the running sequence from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, where you see her run from this like friendly forest to the more like evil forest, right? Where previously when trees were, I'm gonna draw another example. Um, where previously trees would look kind of like this with rounded,
Mm-hmm.
generic tree, very rounded, even like the rendering on the bark is more swayy, right? Versus the more jagged, scarier looking tree. And you can even render the leaves so they don't look super rounded,
Mm-hmm.
like by just doing straight lines like that. And then having the rendering be more jagged. So one tree definitely looks more friendly than the other.
If I remember right, too, they were all like bent over, and
Yeah, a lot of them were like
diagonal.
hunched like
Yeah.
this.
Mm-hmm.
That's round. Or like twisted
Yeah.
like that. A lot of like twisted bark. But yeah, your environment is as much of a character as your characters are, right? And it's up to you as and your discretion how much you want to push that.
Janice says that Snow White scene traumatized my 4-year-old self, and I avoided tall trees for years.
Yeah. Yeah, that and the Shere Khan fight in Jungle Book definitely traumatized me as a kid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's intense.
Or you know what? Actually, speaking of childhood trauma, Large Marge
Oh,
from Pee-wee is a
Pee-wee's Big
great
Adventure.
example of a terrifying character design, where you have was it Margot Martindale? I don't remember the actress.
No, I don't.
Um, who played Large Marge, like very rounded shapes. She had curly hair. that was really, you know, fluffy of the time. And then that curly hair, when she, you know, went all claymation, became these little kind of spikes, right?
Yeah.
And then she had the
Drawing everything from memory to amazing.
I have a really photographic memory. That's all.
Oh wow.
And I watch a lot of stuff.
Gabriel says, would you say shapes also determine the personality of props? I'm sure you're gonna
of
say yeah.
of props.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so, definitely. Just going back to that tree example, right? Even though it is an environment, it's also a singular tree is a prop. Um, Going into like I've been watching Delicious in Dungeon or Dungeon Meshi recently a lot. Um, and you look at Marcel's staff, it looks very delicate. And it's got this big thing that has these little sprigs on it, and that makes it look a little more approachable in a way, right? It's dainty, but it's also like
Mm.
a little sweet looking, right? Whereas if I took that same design, which is a very, very simple design, right? It's a stick with a circle. And I made it so all the sticks were kind of poking out and disheveled. That kind of looks more intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
totally.
yes, absolutely. You can use this same shape language with props.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like Large Marge scared a
Oh
couple
yeah.
girls. Should we take a look at what people have done soon? I know you
Yes, I would love to. I'm going to
okay.
stop sharing.
Usually now's a good time. Um, but we've been sort of chatting about things, and maybe people have been, I don't know, maybe have they been busy? Let's find out.
I'm excited to
Actually,
see what everybody's making.
cool. Okay, I'm gonna do one thing. Sage, if you don't mind, raise your Zoom hand, and that's usually down on the bottom. And it usually says raise. Okay. Now the crazy thing, oh, I'm gonna raise mine as well. And that'll keep you up on the high up on the grid. But the crazy thing is that Zoom might say, you look like you're not talking anymore. I'm gonna lower your hand, which is annoying. So, but if it does that, try and catch it and raise
Okay.
it back. Anyway, okay, cool. We've got people wanting to share. So if you want to share, that would be awesome. And you can raise your Zoom hand like some people are doing, and we'll take a look. And I'll ask you to unmute and we'll spotlight you, and you can show Sage what you did. And I'll put some things in the chat that I meant to put in, but we got too busy. All right, we'll go to Chris
Gabriel,
first.
it's okay if you need a couple more minutes.
Oh yeah, there'll be time. Let's see. Here we go. Hey, Chris.
And mine's a little surreal, and the closest it gets to forest products is that I'm using paper products. I mean, forest is all I'm using paper products.
Mm-mm.
I was in a day full of meetings where people were just talking but not listening, and I thought of them as two-dimensional pieces of paper that just crinkle a lot. So, a bunch of people just making noise and making, crinkly noises. Whereas a different kind of character is just kind of overwhelmed by, it's like more tube-like, So then the tubes get an idea, and they basically erase the mouths on the papers and they draw in ears. And then now the paper, to express itself, has to try a little bit.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. Oh, I
But
love that.
I was working with the geometry of how does this feel versus how does that feel, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's great. And what I want to point out, what you also did by adding those ears is you made that character more approachable, right? They're no
Yeah,
longer that crinkly crinkly,
rounded.
sharp edge or anything. They have these nice big circular elements.
Awesome.
Thanks very
Great
much.
work.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, we'll go to Sarah, then Jules, then Liv. There we go.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I did birds for my forest theme. So I saw a video online of a hawk trying to nab a kitten through a car windshield and not having much success. So here, and that you can hear the crows cawing in the background. So here's the hawk trying to get the kitten. And it says, "Caw, caw, caw, ha, ha. Did you see her try and nab that kitten? That's wild. All claws, no brains." And the junk goes, "Wild indeed."
Oh, that's so good. What I like that you did too is you mimicked the shapes between the kitten and the bird. That's really, really smart. It kind of adds like another layer of like, oh no, this bird is in trouble.
Yeah,
that.
I like animals that are all round and like no face. I find
Yeah.
it very amusing.
Hamsters.
Mice.
Awesome, Sarah. Thanks. Okay, we'll go to Jules. I love that bird.
Hi. Oh
Hi,
wait.
bud.
Okay, great. Hey. Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So yeah, my camera is really low quality. This always happens. But basically I worked with I worked with a like monster character that was also sort of like, you know, teardrop shapes and triangles, and then a human character that was like a triangle nose, but otherwise like very straight up and down, like very lanky. But I put them in a situation where like she's able to stand full height, but he's kind of like, even though he's really tall and lanky, forced to like crouch down.
Mm-hmm.
I can read it quick. Seems a little bit cramped in here. Thanks. The whole space is made of twigs, bones, and spit. So you built this whole place yourself? Nah, my mom helped too. She sounds nice. Yeah, she was. And then he looks up and the bones of the space he's in are like made of the like dead monster. So yeah.
Oh, nice. And that's great. I saw a bit of the character design of the littler one. That's a great example of subverting expectation. Like we wouldn't guess just by looking at them that they're making their homes out of bones.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Awesome, Jules. Thanks. Okay, we'll go to Liv.
Okay, hi. I hope you guys can hear me. So is it okay if I share my screen because I did mine digitally?
Yeah, let me give you that access. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, thank you. So hopefully this works. I'm sharing on Clip Studio, and I was the one that mentioned the like bear and the bear and the hare and how they're kind of like square shaped. I did like some design concepts here, but they're like kind of square shaped and triangle shaped, but they're still like I still want to incorporate round aspect in them, both because it's just my art style and because like they're kind of friendly, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they're friends with each other. So there's like a whole thing here where it's like the hare wants to get the apple, but the bear is like lazy or sleepy, doesn't really want to do it. So then the hare just kind of chills with the bear. The bear's a girl. So if I she her the bear, then that's why. And then like it was just a simple comic. I didn't want to go too far into like any sort of story or anything. I just wanted to get an apple. But then like the apple falls in an epilogue I drew. So
that's so cute. I like that when the bear lays down, they still maintain their like squarish shape.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with incorporating circles just stylistically.
Right.
In general, I'd say like this kind of shape language is it is more so just a tool, right? And like how we use a hammer is up to us. We don't just need to hammer in nails. We can also use it in different ways. So yeah, don't worry about incorporating, also just like incorporating stylistic choices. That's fine too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is so cute.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you.
And they're commenting on the hair attitude. They like the hair attitude. Thanks so much. We'll go to Kate next. Here we go.
So this was fun. I just did the assignment. It really isn't like my regular work, but that's what the fun thing about these workshops. I think, let's see if we can see it. Yeah, I decided to go with a forest scene and round and triangles. And we have the very soft, maybe this is Shel Silverstein's now debunked giving tree, who was too codependent. Anyway, and the triangle, gimme. And in the second panel, the triangle is satiated and has become round.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Especially because the way you're incorporating, like, you're kind of transferring the shape, right?
Yeah. I even used like a brush and ink to try to be more round. And the first, it's like whatever, the triangle was actually drawn with a pointy pen and then is drawn with a round pen.
Nice.
I think I sort of fudged the panel border, but it was fun.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's so cool too, like actually utilizing the different tools that you have to get that shape language down.
Yeah, it's just what I can reach from here, you know.
Aya says that is one satisfied triangle.
Yeah,
right.
you know, that, see, it's like, he's not perma-pointy here. They are not perma-pointy, you know. That's because now it looks like a dumpling now, or maybe like
oh yeah, a little bit.
From triangle to Peru.
Thanks, Kate. We'll go to Nikki. Here we go.
Hi everyone. That was excellent, and I have drawn on an envelope, so someone will be getting this in the mail. Anyway, so yes, I really did have a chicken sandwich, and it had honey in it, which was really strange. So, but anyway, and I was so interested because if you put him without the mice, he kind of looks a bit shifty, but as soon as you put him with triangles, he does look solid and dependable and just like a chap in trouble. So yeah, thank you. I'm so looking forward to going over the replay again and having a explore on different things. So very useful.
Yeah, I love this. It's like a chicken sandwich Baba Yaga.
That's so true.
Awesome, Nikki. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Scott next, if Scott's ready. And then Cassie after that, and then Judith after that.
Hey, can you see me? Oh.
No, we see.
Oh, no. This has one of those things on it. I don't know how to take it off. There we go.
Hey.
So I did 2 trees, one named Happy, one named Sad. And if you can see, this is the happy one. He's more rigid. He's got upturned angles. And then the sad one is droopy and long. And his nose is long, his eyes are long, show long face. And it says, in a forest where who knows goes, 2 trees shoot the breeze. It says, I don't know, Happy. Just because it works for you doesn't mean it will work for me. He goes, you just sit and think of nothing. Simple. He says, I do that all day anyways. Simple gag.
I love it. That's so great. I also like with the happy tree too, you even incorporated the rounded shapes in the way you drew his elbows.
Nice.
I wanted them to kind of gel together too, so.
Yeah, they definitely look like they coexist.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Super cool.
Also good to see you.
Good to see you too, Sage. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. All right. We'll go to Cassie next. Here we go.
Hello. So I didn't have any comic ideas, so I just drew some blob characters and had fun with that. We have this lady, she clearly cooks only delicious things. And there's like a sheriff guy who's wandering in to see what she's cooking today. And we have a little boy with an ice cream cone. And we have a lady who is really vain. And I had fun drawing this little bird reacting to the characters. I might do that in more comics.
Nice. As a little Easter egg.
Yeah.
I love that even with the nail shape that you got for the woman, right? She has that like spikiness to her. Even like the spikes, like you're kind of offsetting the curls of her hair by mimicking like a spikier shape in the swoop to give her a little, like she's a little soft, but only a little.
Only if you say the right things.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cassie.
Great work.
We'll go to Judith next, then Rob, then Penny and Chris. Here we
go. Hi. So I started out when you started to talk about the I remembered a drawing I had done on a blackboard in my room when I was about 7, and I did a picture in chalk of a woman that was made up of 2 triangles, which I never thought about particularly. I liked it so much that I didn't want to erase it, and I left it on the bulletin board like until I moved out of my room when I was after high school, which is very weird. I didn't think about it until today. And then I started now working on what was I thinking of, and I think I was trying, like with this shape, I was trying to picture a woman's body. Here I kind of played with it, and then I realized that I got to this. So I kind of softened the image, and it's as a little girl who's kind of dumpy and has not nice shoes, thinking about herself maybe grown up. All I had to do was add breasts and high heel shoes. And then I came up with this, which is kind of a continuation. It's the person, kind of regular, but she's thinking about something more, what's the word? Sexy.
Yeah, she's got like a little more edge to her.
Short and the boots and the whole thing. So that like that. I don't know why I took that. I don't know why I took that route, but there you go.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. You kind of went through this design journey of like going from sharp to soft to sharp to soft.
Yeah. It's interesting how little you need to suggest the image. You know, the original one makes me a little think of the pictures on bathrooms where you know whether it's a man or a woman because of that. Because of that. That's enough that you need. Anyway, thank you. Can someone remind me of what an Easter egg is? You said it's like an Easter egg.
Oh, an Easter egg is something that's hidden, that people won't always notice, but sometimes they will. It's kind of like a nod to your audience.
Okay. Does it necessarily go throughout the sequence, or you just see it once?
It's up to you. It's more of a little fun thing that artists do as a nod, like a hidden surprise. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, Judith.
Yeah.
We'll go to Rob next.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Disappear. So I was trying to figure out what to do with a forest, and instead I just made like a bad forest ranger and a good forest ranger. So it's not very sophisticated, but there's the bad one with the big hands saying "stupid trees," and then a good one is like, "Trees are the best. Why are you a forest ranger if you don't even like trees?" And then he's like, trees are for losers. And then the bird says, squawk, throws his hands in the air. Shut up, dummy, stupid tree lover. And so I was thinking in terms of like Michelangelo's statue of David. I was like, well, people like big hands. And since he's mean, I'll have him be big crushing hands. I don't know. None of that makes any sense, but here you go. Thanks.
I really like these, Rob. I like the bird.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I like that the guy with the pizza shirt is you kind of incorporated a little bit more of a square design if you look at his shorts, like
Oh.
whether you realize it or not.
No, I mean I was sort of aware of the shape things, but then I kind of very intuitive, so I kind of when I start drawing, I kind of forget. But that I didn't realize that there's squares in it. That's pretty good. Well, good.
Awesome, Rob. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We've got a Penny and Chris next. I think we have two in here.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you done?
No.
Oh, Penny's not done, but I'm done. So I did like little mushroom people. So I started off just drawing a mushroom because I was like, well, what'll that do? And then that gave me the idea to make them into, well, kind of a hat on this one. So I was like, well, it kind of looks like a cowboy hat, so I'll make him wrinkly like Clint Eastwood and get
Nice.
a poncho. And then since he's sort of straight stalk, make the poncho. And then the other one, I figured I'd echo the top and the bottom to make like one shape. And I tried redoing that face like 3 times because it kept looking like the little soot guy from Howl's Moving Castle, and it still does. So I'd need to rework that if I were.
I still see
doing this.
Ghibli in him, but not the soot sprites. I definitely see more
Or not the
Totoro.
soot sprites, the little guy who lives in the oven or what have you.
Oh, yeah. Calcifer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Calcifer.
And then I was trying to think of something sort of gaggy. Sorry, the screen does not take well to the thing. I should have done it on paper.
You get it at the right angle, we can see it.
Yeah, we
But
can see it.
it's like this guy, and he's like, my thought was like this one looks, sort of competent, and the other one doesn't. He looks a little more goofy, so he's like, oh, and it's flipped. Is it flipped for y'all? Is it reading manga style?
No, it's forwards. It says rumble.
Oh,
Yeah, it's forwards.
okay.
Yeah.
It's mirrored for me. So this one's like, I'm hungry. Is like, there's plenty of ways to find food in the thing. It's like, well, I really need something. It's like, well, over here's an oak tree. I can give it like one tap, and then, wait, what happened? Oh yeah, he taps it. It says rumble, and then you see a bunch of acorns and a big shadow over him, and it says crash, and then he's, sorry for the bad glare. Anyway, he's covered in acorns at the bottom, and the other guy's standing on the edge, and he's picking up one and says, I really only need one.
That's good. This is good gag.
I was trying to work backwards from a gag. I was like, well, what's something in a forest? Guy covered in acorns, and then I'll work backwards from that. It's not Shakespeare.
Doesn't have to be.
How's
Never
Penny,
has to be Shakespeare. It's comics.
how's Penny doing? You ready?
She's on the last panel, I think,
Whoa.
but we may raise our hand for her. So we'll
Okay, we can come back. All right,
Yeah.
we'll go to Edgar next.
See. Oh, well, hi, Tom, and thank you for calling on me, and thank you, Sage, for the inspiration. What I tried to do is to use the figure, the panel design, the lettering, all to express the 2 characters, which tonight is me, Mortal Kombat, the 2 Edgars. And the first Edgar says, all right, Edgar, time to take action to fix the situation. And the other Edgar, why don't we wait until tomorrow to begin? And the first Edgar says, I've had enough of your hesitation. Today is the day to change your attitude. And so the other Edgar says, okay, I'll make the call to start the ball rolling. And now later, after Edgar has made the call, the first Edgar softens up. Don't you feel better now for taking action, Edgar? And the other Edgar responds, to the other Edgar, yes, I do. Why did I hesitate so long? The beginning. So you see,
that just the way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Really
Yeah,
great, Edgar.
great work.
Yeah, I tried to use all the different elements to express each character. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. I like that. And I'm not sure if you realized you did this, but you kind of made the second Edgar his glasses look a little rounder in that second panel versus the first Edgar.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, I did the darkness, but I didn't realize, but you're right, it is a little more rounded and a little less severe. So thank you.
That's really how like subconscious these kinds of designs are, truly.
I don't know how to explain.
Awesome. Thanks, Edgar.
You bet, Tom.
Okay, you can just say, and then he cusses out the.
Oops.
Hello. So mine's pretty blatant. Let's see. Yeah. So we have a very triangular wolf who looks a little anxious, kind of, and the trees are supposed to be pretty slanty and kind of crazy. And then we have a very round beaver who is humming to himself, slow and low. That is my tempo. And the wolf is hiding. And then the breakout. And our beaver says, "Oh, hey Harv, still rehearsing for that horror movie, eh?"
Aw.
Pretty blatant.
That's so cute. What you kind of inadvertently did too, or maybe you meant to do it on purpose, is with the way you place those triangles, you kind of made a rectangle in that wolf's design. So you're kind of communicating to us subconsciously, like, yeah, this wolf isn't, it looks very scary, but it isn't actually scary.
Really scary. I was thinking he was he's actually an anxious wolf. So I don't know that came across, but he's a little, anyway.
Yeah, he got them
you.
hairs, you know?
Little hairs, yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Falky. We'll go to Matthew next. Here we go.
Hello. I made this little fox who has its forepaw caught in a trap.
Ooh.
And then it gets sort of loomed over by this Sasquatch type thing. The fox is like a little, a little sort of origami slip of a thing. And the Sasquatch thing is big and burly, maybe sort of kingpinish in his own way. And he leans over the fox ominously and pulls the little trap open, and the fox runs away.
This is great.
Thanks.
Also, like, really, really well rendered. I love how you rendered that fur.
Thanks. I've been wanting to come to one of these for a long time, and I really appreciate you guys putting them on. Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew. Thanks so much. We'll go to Hannah next, and then Jennifer, then Gabriel. Here we go.
Hi. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, let me change the settings for that. You can.
I like your little Rylakuma collection.
Thank you. I actually came to this kind of on a whim, and I'm happy I did. So I wasn't prepared. Okay. So I did a 3-panel comic with the sun and moon girlfriends. Is it working?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. I looked up a sun and moon joke, and I'm like, how can I make a comic about a sun and moon girlfriends? So I'm breaking up with you. Why? Because you never want to go out at night. Anyway, that's it. Full stop. I did the sun is like homey with big chunky shoes and a spoon because she likes to stay at home, and then the moon girlfriend has cool stylish boots and a hot bob because she is trendy and loves clubbing.
One thing I would do is with those cute little boots, adding like a spike heel to really like get across that kind of edginess.
That's a really good idea.
But yeah, I love these. I also love like the contrast between the character designs. Very good.
Thank you so much. It was really fun. Thank you.
Awesome, Hannah. Thank you so much. All right, we'll go to Jennifer next. I may have to on-screen share you there. Hang on. Oh, there we go.
Okay, hi. This is my first share here. So I'm just going to do one panel because it's pretty dark. So can you see that panel?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I'll read it, try to read it backwards, or not backwards, but So this character who, whoops, I guess I have to censor that part, right? Sorry about that. This character says, we're doing this, do this.
Wow.
And then this character says, I'm hungry, I'm really cold. Mommy, okay, but what about and why not? So I'm not going to really go into an explanation because I know we're short of time. I'm pretty sure we're short of time, but it does go on, and there is an evolution. This character does grow into a teenager. So anyway, there's that, and I've shared. I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah, good work.
You know, I didn't want to, but a new friend here just said, you know, when we do that, it really helps us overcome a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I just thought, you know, right. I mean, and also I was really super inspired by a Making Bad Art archived Friday night thing that I saw yesterday. And I just thought, that's what I want to do. I want to make bad art. I want to make a lot of bad art.
Heck yeah.
So there we are.
Awesome. Well, we're here for you, Jennifer.
So
We'll be
thanks.
next week, and you can share again and even more if you want.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Everyone should make at least one bad art, if not more.
Lots, probably, in my case. We're going to go to Gabriel next. Here we go.
Hi, everybody. I am going to need permission to share my screen for this. So.
Oh, okay. Hang on, Gabriel.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Okay. So here's my two little quick characters, very angular wolf and a very round bunny. And then here's their little story. Here we go. Can everyone see this all right?
Yeah.
So bunny's picking flowers. Wolf is hiding behind the bush, ready to pounce. He pounces, and just as he pounces, the bunny turns around and gives him a flower. And the wolf's eyes go very wide at this beautiful thing he's just been handed. He takes it in his paws, looks very lovingly at the rabbit, and then eats him anyway.
Nice.
Thank you.
Great work.
Thank you.
Mirroring what Janice just said. Yeah, really good character acting.
Does not become a contented dumpling afterwards, stays angular and
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Gabriel.
Thank you.
All right. We'll go to Germ Bro next. Let's see if I can get you to. Here we go. Germ Bro.
Oh, you're muted.
No, I think. Oh, now, yep. Hang on. You are muted. Give us a second here. There you go. You should be able to unmute now. Oh, you're still, you know what? You might have a different setup on your microphone or something. We've had this before where people have a different microphone setup or something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I made the little like unicorn rock like troll guys.
Oh, they're so good.
I did this
Oh, that's
cute.
That's
it's like very outgoing, like energetic, and then this like kind of self-preservative, like little rock guy. And then for the comic, I had you can't read that at all, but it's like the unicorn's like walking up to the rock troll, like, "Hey, bub, what you doing?" And then the rock troll's just like, "I'm making maps." And the unicorn kind of just starts like fidgeting with like his eyebrows. And rock troll tells him to get lost, and then the unicorn. Oh yeah, the unicorn's like, "You should really like get those eyebrows like plucked." So they're like bushy.
Oh, that's so cute. I also like the idea that the unicorn's obsessed with the eyebrows because the eyebrows, shape language wise, are the closest to the unicorn.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks so much. Okay, we'll go to C Crane, then Lee, then Elias. We're almost done, I think. Here we go. There.
Hi. So I made mushrooms.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
And the little round one, asks the pointy one, you kind of smell funny today. And the other one says, I can't see.
That happens after a few days.
Yes, that happens after a few days. And then he starts changing shapes. And
It says, gosh, what's happening to you?
yeah, sorry, I got it.
It's all right.
It's okay.
And the other one says, I change rapidly.
Yeah.
It's my
And
fate.
then, yes, I change rapidly. And then it says, oh no, I'm going fast. It's the end. I'm going. Please remember me. My name is Stinkhorn.
Oh, I love this. Fantastic work.
Thank you. It was fun. It's because there are stinkhorns in my garden every year that come out.
I like that too, what you did, incorporating repeating the shape of the mushroom in the nose. So the stinkhorn has a triangle nose and the other mushroom has the circular nose. Very smart.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Lee next if Lee's ready. And then we'll go to Elias and then we'll go to Nancy. Lee, come on. Let's see. We might go to Elias next if Lee's disappeared.
I'm here. Let's see. Let me. Oh, wait. Okay. I start video. There we go. That works. All right. You said forest, and I just immediately thought of a log, and so I wanted to try to make the one character kind of roundish, and then her friend to be more square and angular, and see what I could do with that. So I just played with them, and then I was a little didn't know what to do story wise. I was just trying to make them meet. So she's sitting on a log in the forest and says, I wish I had a friend. And then she hears, I'll be your friend, but only if you stop sitting on my head. So then he sits up and she apologizes.
That's so cute.
That's it.
Also, like, it's a great example of again, just kind of misleading your audience, right? Like, you just think he's a log, but he's much more.
More than a log.
Thank you. Thanks, Lee. Okay, we'll go to Elias next. Let's see.
So, I don't know how my lighting is here. It's gonna be seen. So these two guys encountered each other in a forest. And I think they have some kind of beef from before, and they happen to be armed. So they square off here, and how will the battle turn out? Who knows?
Like the beak nose on that fellow.
Yeah, really, really good. I feel like you incorporated every shape in the bird character. Because you got that really like nice sharp beak, but you also have pretty rounded feet and like that nice like flat top. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a flat top, so he's sort of I'm going to give him the idea of him being sort of tough and substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Elias. We'll go to Nancy and then Sunny then Erica. I think that'll be it.
Okay. All right. I have two squirrels, and the mother says, I'm going out for some nuts, no watching Unspeakable. And the little squirrel says, yes, ma'am. And then, of course, he's on his Xbox and watching Unspeakable. And mom comes home and she's like, help me. And he goes, oh, hang on. And she kicks over. Oh, he's also jumping on a trampoline because that's the kind of thing they do on Unspeakable. So she kicks over the trampoline and the nuts go flying. And in the last panel, mom is sitting on top of the capsized trampoline watching the view, and the little squirrel's gonna have to clean up.
Aw.
I love that fluffiness there on the sides.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Nancy.
Welcome.
We'll go
Thank
to Sue
you.
next, and Erica.
Hi. Oh, hi. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I drew like these cats, like sorry, it's in my like general sketchbook. I did a tiger and then this like pointier cat. And then I didn't really know what to do for the comic, but then you mentioned Delicious in Dungeon, and I was like, I really want to draw the mushroom people, not people, but the mushrooms that like walk
Yeah,
around.
the mushroom monsters.
So I did like, oh, sorry, it's like flipped, but he has like mushroom friends, and then you can't really see it, but he's like grilling the mushroom, and he's like
Aw.
really upset about that. So
Yeah, you communicated the shape language of each cat really well with the ears.
Yeah, really like those ears. Thanks so much. Okay, we'll go to Erica next. Two more, Sage.
Hi.
Hello. I didn't really do like a full-on comic, but I mean, these are my characters.
awesome.
Dandelion and Mush. I started off with two different fairies, but then I got Dandelion and Mush. So Dandy and Mush mushroom. And then Dandelion is drinking some tea and Mushroom is curious about it. Then they're both hiding behind a tree top and they're holding hands. And they're just hanging out up above.
That's so sweet. Also, like I really like that you use that shape language a lot in their clothing. Whereas is Mush the spiky one?
No, Mush is the other fairy doesn't have a I'm switched. The other fairy doesn't, I didn't really develop her, but yeah, she's rounded and then the other one, but then I ended up with the dandelion and mushroom set. But yeah, they have rounded and then spiky.
You do a really nice job of like repeating those like rounded patterns in her dress. Those are awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
This was fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Erica.
Thank you for coming.
We'll go to Davian next. Let's see.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I have to share my screen for this one, so I can just wait until that's available.
All right, we'll do that.
I like your lava lamp. I also have a lava lamp.
Thank you, it's my partner's, but all right, do you see it?
Not yet, but you should be able to do it.
All right, share. I think it's being shared, I'm not sure.
Oh yes, we can see it.
All right, yeah. So I don't know if I did put a lot of thought into it, but I was trying to make one of them the kind of like stern, anxious, type that's like really pondering things because they're in the forest and they're looking for mushrooms. And you have the rounded character is like, oh my God, yeah, this is 100% sure the one, and he's like holding two different mushrooms. And the guy's like, those aren't even the same mushroom, but I was going for like a rounded kind of naive excited character, and then one that was kind of like a bit more reliable and I guess logic bound as my characters. But yeah, I kind of rushed it. I'm not really fast at drawing, but I like how it turned out.
Yeah, it turned out great. Something I also really like that you did is the kind of rounded character is wearing a t-shirt where the other one is wearing a button-up. And button-ups are definitely read, even if they're flannel, more like straight-laced,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Awesome. I like those tones too.
Thank you. Okay.
Ask you to unshare. Yeah, I like the tones. I might be able to. Can you unshare? Ah, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, I'm gonna put Sage back on
Oh, we
the-
have one more. If we have time for one more.
Yeah, but I've texted them. They have to come on. They have to use their real name and come on screen. Otherwise, we're not.
Oh, okay.
So if they want to do that, they gotta do that. But meanwhile, well, anyway, we'll see what happens. And it's time to go anyway. We went a little bit long. Sage, this was fantastic. Like,
oh, I'm so glad everybody had such fun. Honestly, like I really love doing these, and it's such an incredible free resource for art education. These workshops.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you gave us so much, and you inadvertently gave us so many like tiny little 2-character dynamic stories, right? Little dramas. Everybody made these little 2-character dramas, and it was so great to see your expertise in this too. I really appreciate learning and having you draw those things from scratch. It was so amazing.
Aww.
So thanks again. And if you have anything to promote, tell us really fast what we should be looking for.
Yeah. So you can find me on social media at Sage Coffey, SageCoffey. It's Sage M Coffey on Instagram. I have a new book that just came out, Wine Ghost Goes to Hell. It's available wherever books are sold. And I'm also going on tour. I will be at Partners and Son in Philadelphia taking Q&A related to the book, also showing some of the Wine Ghost puppets. And then in Blue Stockings in New York, April 6th, I will be doing a talk with Shavana Sukdio, also about the book. The Partners and Sons is in Philly, and that is April 4th at 6 p.m. Blue Stockings is in Manhattan, also at 6 p.m. April 6th. And I would love to see anyone there. All my comics are free to read, except the graphic novel, obviously, on my website at sagecoffey.com. And yeah, I'm excited to hopefully meet some of y'all.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And I'm going to ask you to unmute and just give a round of applause and say thank you, everybody. And
Thank you
everyone for coming. For having
Thank you.
This is great.
This is a great one. Really great.
I'm glad I was able to share my work.
Thank you.
Go sweep.
All right. Good night,
Thanks everybody for